What's up, people? It's your girl, Karina. Welcome to the channel, and I want to have a little discussion about a topic that I asked what you guys would want me to talk about. And one of those topics was pornography and relationships. It's taken me some time to come to a real message that I feel that is honorable to even bring, out into open into this channel. So let's talk about it. But first, I want to play you guys a little tune as you're coming in. This is my song called Play that I just revamped during this Mercury retrograde. And if you guys don't know, on my channel, I'm having a listening party Sunday for my EP. P is for Pink Water. It's a divine feminine frequency EP album. And you'll also see some new visuals leading up to Sunday to get you guys excited about and get familiar with my sound and my message. So this is Play, and I'm just gonna plug it in a little bit while everybody's coming in. Okay. And I'd love to know what you guys think about pornography and relationships because that's the topic of discussion. And I'm going to tie it to numerology. I can't speak right now. Numerology 11 and the power behind 11. This is Play, y'all. This is just like any modern day Tinder date. You're not in love with her. You're not in love with her. You're not in love with her. You're just looking at her routine. You want who you think she should be. Your fantasy. Your fantasy. You're not in love with her. And when you get to know her beauty. What's up, y'all? We're talking about pornography and relationships. And talk to me in the chat. We're going to have a nice discussion. Come on in. Unsure of what the next move is. Call the waitress. Fuck the movies. Yeah, call me unpredictable. But your kind of love is fictional. When I first met you, I should have simply told myself, you're not in love with me. You're just looking at my booty. Thank you, Ty. How are you? How's the kids? How's the music going? How's life going? Your fantasy, you're not in love with me. It's Richie. You want who you got. Come on in, y'all. We're talking about pornography and relationships. Your fantasy, you're not in love with her. And when you get to know her beauty, you reject her like you just did me. Your fantasy. You're not in love with her. All right, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. That was my song Play. And that's actually the original song that I wrote in January. But it is currently Mercury retrograde. And so I just revamped that song, added a lot of new things, added a rap verse in it. I'm really excited about it because Mercury retrograde energy is a time to re-edit, revise. And I knew that when I did this whole project called Pink Water, that I would need to go back and add more to it. So this is the chance to do it. And I'm excited to bring you guys the Pink Water listening party on Sunday at 4 p.m. It is revamped. So if you have listened to the Pink Water EP before, just know that it's a little different. There's some songs that are a little bit different. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. I want to come and talk to you about pornography and relationships. And it took me some time to do this because I don't know if you guys are familiar with the human design method, but I am a manifesting generator, and I have been trying to understand how to use this energy. And the biggest thing about a manifesting generator is that you have to have like inspiration to act, to be the generator. Oh, Ty, what do you call it? Blueprint program? Splenic projector. Wow. I can't remember. I don't know as much. So tell me what the projector is. Um, I'll tell you guys that the manifesting generator. See, I don't even know my numbers. See, you know more. Maybe you should come and talk on the live with me one day about human design. Um, Manifesting generator, as I know it, the manifestors are the initiators and the generators are the workers. And then there's this little sector called manifesting generator where you're a combination of the two. And I've never really understood how to navigate this energy until recently. And I'm telling you, the concept of integration is important here because this is also the concept of porn and relationships. And the channeling message that I'm bringing this through to you guys is through the number 11. So hold on with me because I know as my Gemini moon, I am all over the effing place. Okay. But I have a point and I'm trying to get to that point. I just need you to follow along with me in order for me to get to that point. Okay. So it's actually really interesting, that I'm talking about manifesting generator because I didn't plan to talk about that. Hey, um, but it is a combination of two different sectors or groupings of human design, right? Because there's manifestors, there's projectors like Ty is, there's reflectors, there's generators, and I think there's one more. I'm not sure if there's one more. But what I discovered that I am is a manifesting generator, which is a combination of the two. And there's actually, I don't think there's any other combination. Like, I don't think there's a projector reflector combination. I think it's just that one combination of manifesting generator that is combined in human design. Okay. If you guys don't know your human design, you can just go online, type in calculate my human design, and you'll like punch in your birthday information and it will tell you what you are. And Ty, she says, projectors are the advisors and the guides they wait to be invited. Dope, dope. So the manifestors create and initiate. The generators are the workers, right? They're like the worker bees. And the projectors are the advisors and the guides. And they wait to be invited. Love that. Oh, please send her info. I would love to know more about human design because it's actually helped me to put everything together. And the point that I was getting to with human design is that with mine, it's the combination of two different things. And I actually am a 2-4 energy, right? So everything about me and my frequency, my energy is about learning how to combine two separate things. Okay. So that's something that I've been really on a spiritual journey about. And you'll see that often, sometimes I fragmentate, meaning that I'll put one sector aside and the other sector aside. For instance, doing music, I created a music channel, and then doing astrology, I created an astrology channel. But really being a combination of two different things to figure out how to merge two things together on integration is a two energy, right? And that's what it is that I have been really pushing myself to do. And I am a lot more fulfilled in doing it rather than trying to handle two opposite ends. Okay. I'm telling you, I'm getting to the topic today, but when we talk on my channel, it's more spiritual. So we have to come from the spiritual end before we dive into the mundane topic of pornography and relationships, right? So I'm not going to sit here and just tell you my opinion. No, I'm actually in the spiritual symbol and tell you why I've come to this conclusion. So that's why I'm saying that. And so this brings me to the number 11. And I've talked about numerology 11 before. And if you're born with I don't have 11s in my birthday, but a family member does, and I'm surrounded by 11s. Okay, because 11 is considered a master number, and I study masters, so I'm surrounded by 11s. I grew up with 11s. Okay, now 11 energy is the 2 energy because 11 is 1 plus 1 equals 2, right? But the issue with 11 energy that I've spoken before, I think I did in the video on the presidential election. Ty, you're in 11 life path? Well, then this video is almost for you, or at least this portion of the video and what I'm about to say, okay? Because 11s are master numbers. In numerology, you don't break down that master number. So every other number you can break down, right? 14, 1 plus 1, 1 plus 4 equals 5. That's how you break it down in numerology, right? But if you have a double, like 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66, 77, 88, 99, you're not supposed to break it down in the calculations. Okay, so let's go back to 11, the first master number, right? This energy is supposed to be a 2, which is integration. But because you cannot break down an 11, it is very difficult to navigate master number 11 because it wants to be in harmony and peaceful, kind, and partnering and collaborative with people. It's root and foundational energy to do so, right? But with the 11, because you can't break it down and it's such a strong separate energy, 1 and 1, 11's heart barely ever really get fulfilled or get the fulfillment of peace and harmony because they have to deal with their separations. They have to deal with their own internal opposition, right? The one side and the other side, which look like two sides, right? If you look at the symbol of 11, they look exactly the same, right? Just like the twin towers, anything that looks like twins, they look exactly the same, but they are completely different. And that's something that you have to understand about 11 energy, okay? So that's when we talk about good and bad, I don't really discuss that, but I talk about cause. We'll be more in the conversation of cause and effect, because to some people it might be good that you can't be in harmony, and then to some, because they'll be like, well, good, that means you can put yourself first and you can work on your independence, whatnot. But then some people might say it would be good for you to work in harmony because harmony is more peaceful and kinder and yada yada yada. So the 11s have to understand that they have two polarizing oppositional forces within them, right? And they want to be peaceful, but because they have so much opposition in them, they have to deal with like this. They're two different needs within an 11 person. Okay, so 11 can apply to you in your numerology life path, but it can also apply to life itself. Okay, so let's think about and look at the different ways in which you have 11 manifested in life. All right, so you have 11 manifested on Earth because you have a North Pole and you have a South Pole. Okay, the North Pole and the South Pole are two exact things, right? They are points on the Earth, but they are separate because they both are very different. They both have different weather, they have different, a lot of different things, but and they are pulling, they are polarizing. Within the pulling and polarizing is true creation. For the concept of Earth, it is the Earth itself, you know. For so anytime you see a 11 symbology, right, twins, you're going to see that they're opposite forces, but within the middle of them is creation, right? Okay. Um, okay, so I talked about the North Pole and the South Pole. That's one example. Now we're moving on to the topic at hand, which is I'm talking about pornography and relationships, because this is what you guys wanted me to talk about. Well, we have to understand that this is coming from a place of the body. So, what is the 11 symbology on the body? The 11 symbology on the body is the head and the feet, right? But it could also be considered the crown chakra versus the root chakra, okay? They are two polar points within the body, right? But they both are very different. Okay, they don't look alike, so it doesn't. But hold with me here. The top of the head and the bottom, the root chakra, right? So when we talk about the root chakra, we're talking about the pelvis down. This is the part of us that is grounded, the part of us that needs to be within survival mode, and it's the part of us that desires sexual passion, and it's the part of us, the root chakra is a part of you that is sex without love. Okay, that's the root chakra. You can also have sex with love as you move more within the heart chakra, which is in the middle of you. But when we're talking about the chakra systems, the crown or the top of the head and the root chakra, the bottom of the body, right? That is your 11th symbology. So here's the thing that I have learned from one of my favorite Vedic astrologers. Her name is Claire Nakti, and she is one of my biggest inspirations in talking about this and having the confidence to talk about this. Because if you had asked me like 10 years ago, I would have given you a straight blank answer. This is wrong and this is right. Okay. But you have to understand that people operate from either crown chakra or root chakra. Most people operate within 11 energy, polarizing energy. Only masters, like true masters, can handle combining the two and like really being integrated of their mind and their body. Okay? Like their mind and their root chakra, their crown and the root chakra. All right? Or the head, the mental, the intellect, the wisdom, the mind, and the pelvis, the sex, the desires, right? Survival, desires, and sex. Right. So those are your two poles. Just like the earth has a north and a south pole, within your body you have a north and the south pole. Right. And the problem with the only problem that you might find is the the struggle to integrate. Okay, so now let's talk about how do you get into a relationship? How do you attract someone? Okay, a lot of people will think that is, oh, it's aesthetic and it's beauty. Yes, because all of the things that are within the middle of the body, the heart chakra, the solar plexus, those things are like the icing on the cake. But the foundation, the ingredients of the cake is coming from the crown chakra and the root chakra, which means that you attract someone either by your mind and the mentality that you have that they share and are interested in you by, or you attract someone by the sexual lust that you omit out into the world and they are attracted to you by that. Those are the two ways that you can legit attract somebody. Okay. All right. So, um, that is also how do you succeed in life? Like, how do you survive in life? How do you find success? Of course, there are various levels to it, but it first begins with the foundation of if I want to be successful, am I going to use my mind or my body? Okay. Am I going to inspire people with my intellect and wisdom, or am I going to inspire people with my sex drive, my lust, and my body? Remember that there's no good and bad, it's just choice and it's cause and effect. Okay, so if you attract people with your mind, then you may lose out on people who are, body driven. And if you attract people with your body, then you may lose out on people with mind who are more mind and intellect driven. Okay, so now we talked about attraction, and now we're talking about the body and how people operate. Now, here's the thing that I differ from Claire Nocti, because she will say that it is women who are more mind driven and men who are more body driven, but that's not the case. Especially when you do look at astrology, it's not that simple. It actually is based off of your elemental dominance. So if you are dominant air, right? If you're dominant air and dominant earth, then you probably will be more mental. If you are dominant water and dominant, well, actually, earth can be body too. So here, let's say if you're dominant air, you're definitely more mental. Okay. If you're earth, then you might be body. You have probably more of the ability to integrate, especially if you are like Virgo. Actually, all earth, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn have the ability to integrate, but Capricorn is more body, right? Virgo is more mind, and Taurus is in the middle. Okay. Why? Because Virgo is Mercury ruled, which is intellect. Capricorn is Saturn ruled, which is body. And Taurus is Venus ruled, which is love in the heart chakra. Okay, so if you're dominant fire, you two probably have the ability to be more able to integrate, because fire rules over the body, right? over Scorpio and Aries, which are both sexual energies, but fire is also in desire of dominance and leading and inspiration. So fire is one of the main ways that you can integrate as well, pulling the energy down from the loins and into the mind. So we talked about air, earth, and fire, and the last one is water. Water is more body. Most people who are water based are looking to either nourish themselves through food or nourish themselves through sex or through the concept of security within life, which would be money. Objective says, yes, I'm one hot, steamy, muddy mess, water, fire, and earth. Yeah, so this is why what I would add to the conversation of are you more mind or are you more body? You can't pin it on gender as much as people might want to do that. When we speak from an astrological sense, from a cosmic sense, we have to look more at your elemental makeup. And this is why you are going to have men who are more body and men who are more mind. I think that there's like this programming society that says that men are more body, and maybe there might be some truth to that, but you do have men who are more mind and wisdom driven. But the true programming is of women, because most people are pushing women to be in most programming, including religion, is pushing women to be heart mind, which is why you cover the woman in a lot of deep religions, because they want women to be more heart chakra and mind. And then when you come to more secular systems like America, like all of America, and specifically like pop music and hip hop music, you're going to find that women are um, playing a more devilish or Lilith role within the body, right? Because it's almost anti religion for women to be of the body. But there are more women who are more body than mind. And then there are more women who are more mind than body. But what women truly live in and what they need, and even me saying this, I feel like I'm pegging women into a box. So I'm sorry to all of my females out there, but I think that where women have a lot of issues is because of the programming. Especially if you were born in like a heavy religious life, then you're going to value and honor more mental, intellectual, and heart spaced places. And because Venus rules over women, women are more heart spaced because they want to rise up, which is why, in theory, women rise men. Why do women rise men, or in like when Beyonce says upgrade you? Now she says upgrade you, and a lot of people take that for materialism. But what I'm saying is that that upgrade and why women are rising is because women are ruled by Venus, right? And Venus is in the higher part of the body, where if you are around like programmed men who are specifically just in body, they just lead with their loins, then the woman can rise him through the body from the loin up into the heart chakra, up into the mind. Okay, so again, like I said, I don't like to peg it as women being the only ones to do that, but that's what the mind person does, right? The air element rises you through the body, like from your sexual desires up into the heart chakra, up into the mind. So that's the process of integration. But the issue is that a lot of people aren't integrated. Most people are coming either mental or physical. And that's what brings me to the point of relationships and pornography, right? Because there will be certain people who condemn it because they are more mental, they are more program of the mind and feel that it's an exploitation of the body. And then certain people are going to be more body because they are more body heightened, right? And so they aren't thinking too deeply about things, okay? Because the root chakra is survival. What does the body need for survival? It needs food, it needs sleep, it needs, sex, because sex in its most survival state is reproduction before anything else. So that's where it comes from. It comes from the space of um, very simple needs when you're talking about the root chakra. Thank you. I'm glad that you guys are able to follow me because I know I'm talking a little bit in circles. Okay, Ty says she's dominant fire. Yes, fire is charming, but it also air can be charming because of its mental manipulation. Like Libras are considered very charming because of their mental abilities. But what fire is very passionate. Okay, and men tend to fall even more in love. Okay, so Ty is saying that men seem to fall more in love when she uses her intellect. So we all have a place of attraction, right? Some people attract people through their mind. Like I said, some people attract people through the body. So she says that she has Mercury in Aquarius, in which she uses that, or seems to be the way that people are attracted to you. Where's your Venus? Let me know where your Venus. Everyone who's watching, let me know where your Venus is, because that also speaks to attraction. Okay. So when you think about Mars dominant people, right? They are typically more survival when you're thinking of Aries, and when you're thinking of Scorpio, it starts to move a little bit. Well, it's still survival, but it starts to move in a little bit more of a sophisticated space because Scorpio is Mars and Pluto. So we're thinking more about going more deeper than just our desires to reproduce. When we're talking about Scorpio, Mars, and Pluto, we're talking about commitment. We're talking about integration of my resources and yours. We're talking about trust, right? So even though Mars rules root chakra stuff, Scorpio, which is Mars ruled, is not as much, it's not just root chakra. Scorpio moves through the body, and um, Scorpio is trying to move up into the body. So now remember, you're all of these things. So when I say Scorpio, I'm not saying for the people who are born just in Scorpio season. So remember that. Um, what you need to do is to find out what your dominant energy is. So, do you mainly have planets in one sign? Do you mainly have planets in one element? And you can find those things out. Actually, in the astrology course that I have, I show you how to find your dominant energies. I need to do more lectures on it, but I do have one video that shows you how to start the process. Okay, so your Venus aspect might give a hint to what you do attract. Okay, so Scorpio Venus typically attracts through the body. Okay, Venus in Aries typically attracts through the body. Um, but Venus in Aries can attract through the mind as well, but from a place of leadership because Aries rules over the head. Okay, Scorpio rules over the pelvis. So Scorpio typically attracts the body. Venus in the 10th house. When we start speaking about house systems, it's a little bit different. Venus in Leo is it actually has two options, but usually attracts through the body. Hey, Autumn, Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius typically is a wisdom energy ruled by Jupiter. So Sagittarius is attracted to body, but Sagittarius usually attracts people because of their mentality. Okay, so all of that we talked about human design, we talked about the root chakras, we talked about all of this stuff, and now we can talk about pornography and relationships, which is why you guys are really here. Okay, so this is all of this to say when we talk about this topic that there is no good or bad, but it's about understanding how far up, right? How far in the mind are you and how far in the body are you? Okay. If you're too far in the mind with pornography and relationships, then you may become judgmental. Okay. And when you forsake the body, okay, so if you're too far in the mind and you forsake the body, then you lose your essence, like, because you're mainly body, and the mind is the lord of the house, which is your body. So the mind is governing what you do, but you are all body. So if you're so much in your mind where it becomes too far in your mind and you become too judgmental, then you're forsaking your body and your body's needs. And you still could an effect of being unhappy, of not being fulfilled, right? Because you're too much in your intellect. Okay, so if you're too much in your body, then you don't think too much about your actions, in which the body is acting on impulse. That's the word I'm looking for. The body's acting on impulse, so it just acts and doesn't think. And because you are mainly body, that means that your pelvis is governing the body versus the mind. Okay, and that's also why the man. That's why in culture you can say, you know, like you can say that there's two heads. There's the top of your head and there's the pelvis of your head, which are the twins, the 11s. They both look alike because you can either be guiding your body through your mind or you can be guiding your body through your pelvis. When you go too far into the body, then you are going to pull yourself into this place where you're acting too much on impulse, like I said, and you're not thinking about the effects of life, right? Because the mind is the Lord, the mind is the true God. So the mind is being forsaken. Your mind is being forsaken. So you're not actually acting like a god or acting like you're in charge. You're actually being controlled by impulse. So those are the two ways in which if you go too far, you will be out of balance, right? Because I'm choosing not to say good or bad, but you will be out of balance. That's the 11 energy, the two opposite energies. So, in my opinion, I would say that integration is the key, or just knowledge of self is the key. So, if you know that you just want to be body, then know that and keep it pushing. If you know that you just want to be mind, then know that and keep it pushing. But if you want to integrate mind and body, now you're acting in a whole different space and creating a whole different lane for yourself that society itself is not programmed, does not have a program for. Okay. Society has a program to keep you suppressed in the mind, which is your traditional religions. And then society has a program to keep you suppressed in your body, which is all of the secular, stuff that is out there. So you have to make decisions on yourself, which is why you have to vote for yourself. You have to vote for your God, which is your mind, your decisions to understand what the whole game is and then to know what part of the game you're playing. Then you will not be so focused on what anybody else is doing. You'll be focused on what you're doing, because what you're doing is a reflection of what everyone else is doing. Which brings me back into the topic of pornography and relationships, in which if it works for you, it works for you because you are happy with it and you can integrate it. But let's say if you're in a situation where you're using pornography and your partner doesn't like it, or vice versa, then you have to really look and analyze you and your partner based off of all the things that I was saying. Is one person more mind and one person more body? Are you guys meeting in the middle? Also look at your Venus and Mars placements and look at the dominant element of those placements. So the key here is when you're dealing with a relationship, you have to become the two, right? Whereas something like this topic can actually polarize you, can create an enemy out of you. And while there's two of you, you're on two opposite sides. The only way to actually heal and be in a relationship is to compromise, which means to do it together, create something together. If you are not going to create something together and stay in your own position, like this is bad and this is right, then you're not in a relationship with another person. You're not co-creating with another person. So that's really, it's so simple, but I had to go through that whole spiritual explanation to explain to you why I come to that concept. Basically each his own, but when I'm saying each his own, that his is the relationship, meaning each relationship has to create their own rules about it. But you also want to operate from the place of sensitivity and understanding your partner's needs. If your partner is more mental, then you need to have sensitivity and understanding that they are more mental and they may not be operating from the body. If your partner is more body, then you have to understand that your partner has physical needs and they are not always operating from the place of the mind. They're operating off of their basic needs. Okay, so rant is done. This is a great insight when thinking about WAP controversy. Yes, this is why I asked if you guys, what relationship stuff you guys wanted me to talk about, it came from the WAP controversy, because the whole thing about WAP and how people are reacting to it is based off of, are they acting from their mind or their body, right? So basically, if you're having issues about it or controversy about it, it's because you're under your 11 energy. You're polarizing yourself. You're The mind and the body are at war. Okay, right. My progressed Virgo ascendant, I think sometimes I'm fighting to look reserved and covered up on one social media page. Then I'm a total nudist. Yeah, exactly. And you know what? The thing about Virgo, it's a very interesting constellation, because Virgo is honored for its purity and its perfection. And Virgo, ruled by Mercury, is a little bit more mind, right? They're more mental. The perfection comes from the purification of the mind, right? And then the mind telling the body how to serve. But in Vedic astrology, Virgo actually has certain constellations that make people more prone to nudism, to more sexual promiscuity. In Vedic astrology, certain constellations within Virgo, certain nakshatras within Virgo actually make you more of the body, meaning that seems to be pure, but has a lot of complexities within it. Okay. And it makes sense because Virgo is a more sophisticated Gemini, right? Because Gemini and Virgo are both Mercury, but Gemini is early and Virgo is later. Virgo is just before the fall, right? Or the transition into fall. So you're finding more complexities when you deal with Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio. Okay, cool. Okay, you guys. So thank you so much for um, allowing me to talk about this and for hanging in with me on that roller coaster, and for telling me all of your Mars and Venus placements. Okay, so if you haven't checked out, I have a Venus series going that's already completed. So check out that Venus series on my channel. I'm also working on a Mars series. Right now, the Mars series has to do with activity and fitness, but I plan to do one on relationships in the near future, because you can have so many levels of topics on these elemental energy bodies. So, but this conversation is a Venus and Mars conversation: relationships, Venus, and pornography, sex, Mars. So, thank you guys so much, and I will see you. Oh, quick question: does your Lilith series apply to Black Moon and Dark Moon placements too? Yes, it does. I have a video that says how to find your 4 Liliths. Check out that video, because you have 4 different Liliths. And if you're ready to journey into that rabbit hole, you have 4 ways in which you portray Lilith out into the world. So you want to discover those 4 Liliths and how you portray yourself out into the world, and then go to the Lilith series and watch all 4 of your Lilith placements. And you'll have almost like a big book on your personal Lilith. So definitely check that out. That's kind of how I made it or created it for everyone to see, because Lilith is extremely complex. And you have a Black Moon Lilith, you have an asteroid Lilith, you have a moving Lilith. It gets crazy. It gets crazy. But if you just want to focus on Black Moon, that actually would do just fine. In fact, the teacher that I got my information from mainly focused on Black Moon. Okay, thank you guys so much, and definitely check out the next 2 videos, which are going to be dropping today and tomorrow on the 11th house. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Peace and love. Bye.